Hey guys, just Ash here. EA kicked off E3 this weekend and it wasn't as disappointing as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it wasn't a great show either. There were very few surprises and a lot of games that we were definitely expecting, but here are my reactions. Battlefield 5 was up first, and we got a slightly more in-depth look at it than we did at the announcement show a couple of weeks ago. They showed a trailer which looked way too nice to be console footage, and of course there was a focus on the fact that Battlefield 5 will not feature loot boxes or premium passes. It most certainly seems that EA has learned their lesson when it comes to allowing players to pay for power. Instead, players will be able to buy customizations for their soldiers, their weapons and their vehicles, which, if you're into that sort of thing, I'm sure is really great for you. It was also announced that there would be a Battle Royale mode released after launch, but it was mentioned that this will be reimagined for Battlefield 5, so I think it will be slightly different to the sort of Battle Royale games that are available at the moment. The multiplayer in Battlefield 5 seems like it is going to be huge, covering multiple modes and maps, and we will get a closer look at this in Microsoft's conference. However, EA did show a gameplay trailer for the multiplayer mode. Again, this looked a bit too nice to be console footage. It was actually kind of hard to tell that it was gameplay. It looked a bit more like a cutscene to me. Also, the actual UI wasn't shown, which I know a lot of fans would have liked to have seen, just to see if we could get more of a feel for the flow of the gameplay. I guess we'll have to wait to find out more. FIFA 19 was the next featured game, to absolutely no one's surprise because there is always a FIFA game announced. And rather predictably, it looks exactly the same as FIFA 18. The new feature talked about in the conference was the fact that the UEFA Championship League has been added to FIFA 19. This will feature in the story mode, the career mode, and is also available in tournament mode as well, which now means there are two trophies available in FIFA games, the UEFA Championship League trophy and the FIFA World Cup, obviously. I'm not a big fan of the FIFA games, but if you're into them, I presume this is a good thing and it will add a fresh new layer to the gameplay and gives FIFA games something a little different to offer. Either way, we will find out when FIFA 19 launches on September 28th this year. There was also a mention of FIFA 18's most recent update with all of the World Cup content and the fact that FIFA 18 is now currently free on PS4, Xbox One and PC via Origin Access. So now is definitely the time to try FIFA out. Next, Andrew Wilson, the CEO of EA, came out to talk about how subscription and streaming services will affect video gaming. He mentioned that there was a tech demo available at EA Play this year, which is highlighting EA's cloud gaming and the functionality to stream onto multiple different platforms. He also mentioned subscription services and announced the launch of EA's new subscription service, Origin Access Premier. This will include all of EA's brand new PC games starting with Madden 19, as well as access to the Vault, which contains over 100 games from EA and other publishers. Unfortunately, it does come across as a bit of a cash grab, but I think if it is managed well and actually delivers on its promises, it could be quite a good service. Next, there was a little bit in the crowd with Vince Zampella from Respawn Entertainment. He got to announce that the new Star Wars game that they have been working on is called Jedi: The Fallen Order, and that it is set between episodes 3 and 4 in the timeline, and you will be playing as a Jedi as well. I am so excited about this. I personally hope that it is a single-player RPG similar to Knights of the Old Republic. However, any new Star Wars game is fine by me, and I absolutely cannot wait to find out more. Unfortunately, I'm going to be waiting a long time because this game isn't going to be released until the end of 2019. But I will definitely be keeping my eye on it until then. Keeping with Star Wars, we then got a presentation about Star Wars Battlefront 2. The overhaul that was made to the progression system was mentioned, as was the fact that Battlefront 2 did not have a great start. They also highlighted the recently added hunt mode, the one with the Ewoks on Endor, and showed some of the new Han Solo content that is coming out next week. And this update will also include the return of the much-loved extraction mode. Then we moved on to future plans. A squad system will be added in the summer, which will make it easier to team up with your friends. And a new Starfighter mode will also be added, which focuses on dogfighting with ships in space, and I feel like that will really bring something new to the game. Further on in the future, they are looking to add a large-scale multiplayer sandbox. Again, I feel like this will be a fun new addition, and it will definitely add a lot of variety to the types of gameplay that you can have with Battlefront 2. The star of this presentation, however, was the announcement of a new Clone Wars expansion that is coming out this year. I am so excited for this. I love the Clone Wars, and this may actually be the thing that brings me back to playing Battlefront. It was announced that Planet Geonosis will feature with multiple levels and new heroes and villains will be featured. These will include General Grievous, Count Dooku, Anakin Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi at long last. We didn't see anything for this expansion though, but I am happy with just the announcement of a Clone Wars expansion for Battlefront. I think it's going to be great. Next up, we have a couple of indie games that EA is publishing. The first one was a really big shock because it was Unravel 2. The game is now focused on two characters, Yarny from the original game and a new Blue Yarny character. The game itself is about fresh starts and is inspired by optimism and togetherness, and this is reflected in the gameplay, which is all designed to be played as two characters. Now, you can either play alone or in local co-op with a friend, and this was shown in the short demo that they did on stage. And it was super cute. The two Yarnies can carry one another when you're playing alone, and you can jump into the co-op mode at any time. It's also super great to see that Martin Salin is still so passionate about his project. During the demo, both him and his co-op buddy from Coldwood were really excited to be playing their game. You could tell that they were still thoroughly enjoying it. Plus, Unravel 2 is available now, so I will be buying that as soon as I have been paid because it is just one of those games that I can't wait to play it. The next indie game was called Sea of Solitude, or SOS, and is from Yomai. The concept is that lonely humans become monsters. The game itself seems to be a bit of a think piece and is definitely designed to evoke specific emotions. It will likely do this by following the main character, who is a young woman called Kay, and her battle with loneliness and other negative emotions that have turned her into a monster. The player's job is to find out what has happened and to try and turn Kay back. SOS looks gorgeous, and I really do think it will be very successful in making the player feel the way the game intends them to feel. I did get a lot of very Journey-esque vibes from it, but with a slightly darker tone, so I'm definitely intrigued. I would love to find out more, and as it's not being released until early 2019, I feel like we'll see more of it soon. NBA Live 19 was announced for September 7th, and Madden 19 was featured with a bit of small talk from the Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, and someone called Young Kiv. I don't really know who he is or what he does, but he was there. It was a bit awkward. Anyway, Madden 19 is being released on August 10th. So the next presentation was a bit weird. There were two announcers on stage acting like they were at a very serious esports event. They called out two guys who I've never heard of to play a round of a base defense mobile game. It was framed like a very serious esports type thing, but it was actually kind of boring to just watch these two guys tap away at their screen. The gameplay that we were seeing from the actual mobile game itself was very slow and boring. And then it was announced that this was Command & Conquer Rivals. And we finished the show with a deep dive into Anthem. They started slowly showing some of the same CGI trailers that we've been before, and the whole time I couldn't help thinking that this is what they're doing instead of Dragon Age 4. But we did find out that Anthem isn't going to be an MMO or an online multiplayer with a story bolted on like Destiny. The single-player multiplayer integration has been built into the core of the game. So you're only ever in multiplayer when you're out in the world doing missions, but when you're back at bases, it's going to be a single-player-led game. Which I think is quite interesting. I feel like BioWare are good enough at writing stories that are intriguing that you won't necessarily mind putting it on pause while you're out doing a mission. There are also plans to add to Anthem for many years to come, and that will include plot elements, lore explorations, and even new character moments. Anthem will have a shared dynamic world, which basically means all of the people in multiplayer at any given moment are all seeing the same thing, which sounds pretty cool. It is set in a world that was unfinished by the gods and has an unknown force called the Anthem of Creation, which is what the bad guys are trying to harness. It will be a dangerous world that requires characters to wear power armor, which is known in universe as javelins, and they come in 4 different classes: Colossus, Ranger, Storm, and Interceptor. It certainly sounds like a good concept. I think it's just about fresh enough to remain interesting for a long time as well, and personally I do really enjoy BioWare's storytelling. My only concern is that the gameplay we've seen looks a bit slow or heavy. I don't really know how to describe it. It just feels like there's no real urgency to anything. The guys at BioWare also addressed microtransactions in Anthem during a Twitter Q&A section. Again, it seems like EA have learned their lesson. You will not be able to pay for power or for anything that will give you an advantage. The only microtransactions available will be for customization options, and you can see everything before you buy it so you know exactly what you're going to get. They also mentioned during this section that you can play the entire game alone if you want to. Now, this has made me 10 times more interested in Anthem because I personally do not enjoy playing online multiplayer. But if you can do it all alone, I feel like it might feel a bit like an older BioWare game like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, and it'll be a little bit more enjoyable for me. I am definitely going to wait to see if we find out anything more about Anthem before I decide if I'm going to play it or not. I'm definitely still open-minded, and I'm a lot less worried about it now than I was 3 days ago. But I've got plenty of time to find out more, as it won't be available until the 22nd of February 2019. One thing I know for certain though is that the concept art for Anthem is absolutely gorgeous, and I am 100% down for an art book. And those are my thoughts for EA's conference. There were a few nice surprises and a few games that surprised absolutely no one. I will be doing reactions to each of the E3 conferences, so do make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss them. Leave your thoughts on EA's conference in the comments below, along with any questions for my Q&A later in the week. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and remember, pour yourself a nice cup of tea, and join me soon for more E3.